A lot of people don't like Kristi Noem anymore because of the fact she shot a dog, but a lot of people never looked into the details of the story, where the dog was untrainable, kept biting her, and actually killed a lot of chickens at a local family farm, making the dog a dangerous liability, and she was lucky she wasn't sued for that. So I believe the media over-exaggerated that situation so she wouldn't become vice president. But what we forget about Kristi is she was the only governor in the United States to not issue a statewide stay-at-home order and closure of businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yes, the only governor, and I think that decision was absolutely admirable. In addition to her holding a very pro-border, anti-illegal immigration stance, as she activated National Guard members to help Greg Abbott of Texas to secure the border during the Biden administration. So that's why we should be excited for her to be the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, because this department is in charge of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, in addition to ICE, FEMA, TSA, and cybersecurity. But anyways, Democrat Senator Richard Blumenthal all of a sudden cares about children, even though to care about children, a prerequisite to that would be caring about the missing children that the Democrats allowed with illegal immigration. But he brought up to Kristi Noem the false claim that Trump had a family separation policy, and I want you to hear her response because she wasn't having any of it.
I want to call your attention to an effort that I've led to help reunite children with their parents, children who were separated as a result of the so-called family separation policy in the last administration. I have introduced a measure called Keep Families Together, not only to limit separation of families at or near ports of entry, but also the Families Belong Together Act for several Congresses to help bring the children, the kids who were victims of this policy and who still are not back with their parents. I hope that you will support that kind of effort.
Senator, the Trump administration never had a family separation policy. They had a zero tolerance policy, which said that our laws would be followed. What I'm alarmed by is the over 300,000 children that went missing during the Biden administration. And when we talk about children and what they're potentially facing as far as victimization in this country and the trafficking that's going on, this administration's lack of desire to find out where those children are or what they may be going through is alarming to me. So I want to stop that.
Because my time is expiring, I'm just going to interrupt again with apologies to say, let's put aside.
Well, I can't put aside 340,000 children.
Let's put aside what happened in the past. There are still 1,000 children who are separated and waiting to be reunited. I'd like your commitment that you're going to continue the effort to reunite them with their parents.
Senator, keeping families together is critically important to me and to this country. I'm concerned about Laken Riley's family, that they no longer have her. I'm concerned about the fact that we have people in this country that don't know where their children are, or people in other countries who sent their children here and they've been lost by this administration. So yes, my focus will be to keep families together. We will uphold our law and we'll make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep our children safe from the trafficking and the drug epidemic that's hit this country.
I'm going to end on an optimistic note and say I take that as a yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes, we will keep families together by deporting them together as our new borders are set. And I don't understand the logic of putting aside the 360,000 missing children and to only focus on the 1,000. This whole illegal immigration thing is a mess and is so corrupt with all the cartels and trafficking. What Republicans need to take the approach, and this would be considered more far right, is to prioritize births in our country rather than prioritizing people in other countries, whether illegal or legal, because we don't want to replace our population with immigrants. We can supplement it, but we don't want to prioritize it. And that starts at the education level because too many people have access to funds for college, thereby oversaturating the market with bachelor degrees that people don't use. And because of how much debt young people take on, no one wants to have children because of the cost. Work experience should be more valuable than a bachelor degree. But also the cartels need to be treated as terrorists and be taken out with our own military, even if it involves invading a few miles into Mexico or threatening Mexico to get everything under control, or we will. This is our number one enemy. It's not Russia, it's not Palestine, it's the cartels at the border, and they need to be treated as such.